Welcome to our show, Immigration Briefing. Today, we're diving into some hot topics in the world of immigration. First up, Australian Immigration Minister Dutton is gearing up to block Labor's proposal to cap international students at 270,000, a move that aims to address rising housing costs but faces opposition from the coalition. This could lead to a significant shakeup in the education sector as universities brace for potential changes in overseas student admissions. Next, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is reflecting on the immigration system, admitting that the government could have acted more swiftly to address the challenges posed by bad actors exploiting the system. With plans to reduce permanent residency streams by 20%, Trudeau emphasizes the need for a balanced approach to support the labor market while stabilizing population growth. Lastly, we turn to Springfield, Ohio, where the Haitian community is feeling the pressure following Trump's election victory. Many are now looking for ways to leave the area due to fears of deportation, raising concerns about the future of this vital community that has contributed significantly to the local economy. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage on these pressing issues. The Sydney Morning Herald reports that the coalition is poised to block Labor's proposal aimed at capping the number of international students in Australia to 270,000. This proposal comes in response to rising political pressure to reduce migration amidst soaring housing and living costs. Education Minister Jason Clare criticized the coalition's stance, claiming it undermines Peter Dutton's credibility on immigration. As universities grapple with the uncertainty of these caps, they face a significant reduction in new overseas students, with approximately 53,000 fewer expected in 2025 compared to 2023. The ongoing political battle over immigration numbers is expected to intensify as the next election approaches. In a video shared on YouTube, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada acknowledged that the federal government could have acted more swiftly to address issues within immigration programs, attributing some of the challenges to bad actors exploiting the system. The government plans to reduce the permanent residency stream by 20% over the next 2 years, aiming for a stabilization of population growth while housing supply catches up. Trudeau emphasized the importance of immigration in boosting the labor market post-pandemic but recognized the need for adjustments to prevent misuse of immigration avenues. The Guardian highlights the exodus of Haitian immigrants from Springfield, Ohio, following Donald Trump's election victory. Community leader Marjorie Kovaleski has observed a growing number of Haitians seeking assistance to leave the area, fearing deportation due to Trump's threats to end their temporary protected status, TPS. Many are relocating to other cities or considering returning to Haiti, where violence from gangs is rampant. The local Haitian community has played a vital role in revitalizing Springfield's economy, and their departure could have significant repercussions for local businesses and services. Amidst this turmoil, some Haitians expressed disillusionment with both political parties, feeling abandoned and uncertain about their future in the U.S. Guardian, in a striking display of political theatrics, Joe Biden and Donald Trump met in the Oval Office, symbolizing a peaceful transfer of power, but the underlying tension was palpable. Trump's impending return to the presidency is marked by a series of controversial cabinet appointments that have reignited fears of authoritarianism and chaos. His selection of figures such as a Fox News host and an anti-vaccine activist suggests a government that might prioritize loyalty over competence. As Trump prepares to take office, he aims to implement aggressive policies, including mass deportations, while facing potential logistical and legal challenges. Experts warn that his administration could disrupt the independence of the judiciary and lead to unprecedented actions that threaten democratic norms. Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Australia is grappling with its migration system in light of climate change and the rising number of climate refugees, particularly from the Pacific Islands. The recent treaty with Tuvalu marks a significant step in acknowledging the impacts of climate change, allowing a limited number of Tuvaluans to migrate to Australia. However, as the region faces increasing displacement due to climate-related issues, there are concerns about the adequacy of Australia's immigration policies to accommodate these changes. The Parkinson Review emphasizes the need for Australia to engage more deeply with its neighbours and prepare for the inevitable rise in migration due to climate displacement. Current migration programs, like the Pacific Engagement Visa, aim to strengthen ties with Pacific nations, yet questions remain about the treatment of temporary workers and the overall effectiveness of the migration system. Telegraph, the UK has seen a substantial increase in asylum seekers claiming to be gay, with the number of successful applications soaring to over 2,100 in the past year. This rise is partly attributed to a backlog from the pandemic, but it has raised concerns about the potential for individuals to exploit the system. Critics point to specific cases, such as that of Nigerian asylum seeker Shahid Aziz, who was granted asylum based on his sexual orientation but later revealed a criminal past, suggesting that some may manipulate their claims for easier access to asylum. While countries like Pakistan and Nigeria have the highest number of successful applications, the UK continues to uphold its obligations under the European Convention on Human Rights to protect individuals facing persecution based on their sexuality. The Home Office maintains that robust processes are in place to ensure genuine claims are granted protection. Telegraph. The article explores the paradox of a nation built by immigrants turning against immigration itself, particularly in the context of recent political shifts. Historically, the United States has been a haven for those seeking refuge and opportunity, with the promise of self-reliance and the chance to achieve one's dreams. Personal anecdotes reveal the struggles and triumphs of immigrant families who embrace their new identity as Americans, shedding ties to their past. However, the current climate reflects a stark contrast, as descendants of earlier immigrants express resentment towards new waves of migrants, driven by fears of uncontrolled influx and the perceived threat of cultural fragmentation. CNN. As Donald Trump prepares for his second term, his administration's immigration policies are set to shift dramatically towards stricter enforcement and mass deportation. Plans are underway to revive controversial measures from his first term, including the expansion of detention facilities and mandatory detention for undocumented immigrants. The focus will be on those already within the U.S., with strategies to reintroduce the "Remain in Mexico" policy and revise asylum restrictions. Trump's team, comprising hardline immigration officials, aims to implement these changes swiftly, reflecting a renewed commitment to the tough immigration stance that resonated with many voters during his campaign. CBC. The Canada Border Services Agency, CBSA, has faced scrutiny after sending 19 failed Afghan refugee claimants back to Afghanistan, despite ongoing human rights concerns under the Taliban. The removals occurred under a temporary suspension of removals order, raising questions about the definition of voluntary departures. Critics argue that economic hardship and family pressures may have coerced these individuals into leaving Canada. Immigration experts emphasize the dangers faced by women in Afghanistan and criticize the lack of transparency from the CBSA regarding the removals. Meanwhile, the Canadian government remains undecided on granting blanket refugee status to Afghan women and girls, even as it highlights its commitment to welcoming Afghan nationals since the Taliban's takeover. The Independent reports that Tom Homan, the former acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, has announced his intention to implement a regime of shock and awe on the first day of a new administration under Donald Trump. During a recent appearance on Trump Jr.'s program, Homan outlined his aggressive plans for mass deportations of millions of undocumented immigrants, claiming that such actions would lead to a decrease in crime and save lives. He emphasized that his approach would not only focus on deportation but also on securing the border and addressing issues like drug overdoses and human trafficking. Homan's comments have sparked concerns about the implications for legal immigrants and U.S. citizens, as he stated that families could be deported together, raising fears of potential denaturalization efforts. The Toronto Star highlights a legal case involving Vincenzo "Jimmy" DeMaria, a suspected mafia boss, whose deportation proceedings are being challenged due to alleged foreign interference in Canadian law enforcement. DeMaria's legal team argues that wiretaps conducted by Italian authorities, which were used as evidence against him, violate Canadian law and the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. They claim that the wiretaps were executed without proper judicial authorization and constitute a clear example of foreign interference that undermines Canada's sovereignty. The case raises significant concerns about the integrity of the legal process and the potential for dangerous precedents if such foreign-derived evidence is accepted in Canadian courts. In another report from the Toronto Star, the Parliamentary Budget Officer has assessed the Trudeau government's new immigration plan, which aims to reduce immigration targets in response to Canada's housing crisis. The report indicates that while the cuts may ease housing demand, the reduction will not be as substantial as the government predicts. The new plan aims to decrease the number of new permanent immigrants and non-permanent residents, but experts suggest that various factors contribute to the housing shortage beyond immigration levels. The PBO estimates that Canada will still face a significant housing gap by 2030, although it will be less than previously projected. The report emphasizes the importance of accurately forecasting the outflow of temporary residents and the need for a substantial increase in housing construction to address the ongoing crisis. The Independent reports on the trial of Jose Ibarra, accused of murdering nursing student Laken Riley in Georgia, a case that has ignited fierce political debate. Riley's brutal death, which involved significant violence as she fought for her life, has been used by Republicans to criticize the Biden administration's immigration policies, claiming they contribute to rising crime rates. Donald Trump has highlighted Ibarra's illegal immigration status as a focal point in his campaign, framing Riley's murder as a direct consequence of the current administration's border management. The political ramifications are evident, with figures like Marjorie Taylor Greene using Riley's name to push their agenda during high-profile events, while Riley's family expresses frustration over the politicization of their tragedy. In a unique initiative to boost voter participation, CBC reports that Nunavut Tunngavik Incorporated is offering $100 vouchers to all eligible voters in the upcoming presidential election for the Inuit organization. This move comes in response to declining voter turnout, particularly after the COVID-19 pandemic, with previous elections seeing participation as low as 18%. The organization hopes that the incentive will encourage broader participation in the democratic process, emphasizing that the vouchers are not a bribe but a means to foster engagement. The election, which features 4 candidates vying for the presidency, will also provide financial support for candidates to campaign across communities, aiming to revitalize interest in local governance among the Inuit population. The Sydney Morning Herald highlights how immigration issues have become a pivotal aspect of Donald Trump's political strategy, particularly following tragic incidents involving illegal immigrants. The heartbreaking story of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungeri, who was murdered by 2 Venezuelan immigrants, has been used by Trump to bolster his narrative against the Biden administration's border policies. As Trump prepares for a potential return to the presidency, he is expected to revive his hardline immigration stance, aiming for mass deportations and stricter border control. However, experts warn that implementing such policies would face significant logistical and legal challenges, alongside the ethical implications of separating families and the potential economic impact on communities that rely on immigrant labor. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Morning sunlight on the street, city whispers soft and sweet, faces mix in daily grind, every story intertwined, cultures blend like colors bright, languages in the silent night, on the table stories told, food and feast upon so bold, people living day by day, in the heart they find their way, sharing moments, voices sing, in this world of everything. Society in rhythms beat, entertainment's fleeting heat, echoes of wars and fears, laughing through our unseen tears, children playing in the park, drawing dreams till after dark, elders speak of days gone by, washing shadows from the sky. People living day by day, in the heart they find their way, sharing moments, voices sing, in this world of everything. Society